What's up? Don't forget to follow me. I'm Young Text YouTube and Dreams Young Text on Twitch and Young Text on YouTube. So follow on Twitch, subscribe, and hit the bell here. And if you would like to join a Dreams PS4 Amino, just type in Dreams PS4 in the Amino app. This is the Mortal Kombat Finishing Blow tutorial for your fighting game. So it's really simple to actually do this. It's really just a giant cutscene. So you just have to understand animations and how they work. There's a few things you can do to polish this up, but it shouldn't be too much for you. You can also use a black screen with a wiper if you don't want to do the extra polishing and you want to make your game making process easier. So let me show you where the wiper is. It's not a part of this logic, but if you wanted to, whenever somebody's health is at no more health, you can make it to where the screen goes black with a wiper. Just put this into the power of a wiper and then make the wiper screen black and you should be good. So let's go ahead and start this now. What you want to do is pull out a wireless receiver, put it inside of the character that you want to be affected by the finishing blow. Next, pull out a calculator, make it less than, so if your health is, put current health into A, and if your health is less than 20, it'll send off a signal to power on this receiver and a signal to the transmitter. The transmitter, press L1 and X first, and then put it inside of your character's purple marquee thing. That way it's always following the character. The transmitter, name it, and whatever you name it, put that name right here. This thing has a hitbox searching for this transmitter. This is the receiver. This is the transmitter. And the transmitter, again, is inside of your puppet's purple marquee. So press L1 and X before placing it down. You'll find that in here. What you'll want to do now is press L1 and square on this thing. Pull out an AND gate and a text displayer. Put the wire signal into the power of the text displayer and also into the A of the AND gate. Again, all this stuff you can also put inside of a microchip if you want to keep things organized. It's that simple. Microchips are like folders to keep things, data organized, so that way it's easier to find and easier to program, or if somebody else you're collabing with wants to collab, it's easier for them to figure out what they need to edit. So place that into the A of the AND gate into the power of this text displayer. Use finishing blow right here or something for your text displayer. Turn that off and copy the settings if you want to right here. Whatever button you want to be the button to use your finisher, put that into the B, put the result into a timeline, set it to once, then mess with the speed after you make your animations. So again, this is just an animation tutorial for the most part. No more health, plug that into a keyframe. What this keyframe does is turns off these, also turns that off, and it also switches this to none. So you want to make sure you press L1 and X on it first, and then just turn this off and turn off the power by pressing L1 and square on these. Turn these off also with that keyframe. Also turn off that. And with that keyframe, you can also put it on slow power up if you want to, or you can also put this keyframe inside of a timeline if you want to do it that way. I didn't do it that way for reasons that it'd be easier. Probably be easier for you too. But you'll also want to make it to where that keyframe also positions your character after you press L1 and X on it on the ground, dead. So make it look like a death animation. That's very important. Also make sure it is on keep changes. And no more health is in the power of that. So let's talk about how we can get this thing animated. This first keyframe has no data, no recording. Put that in there and set all the keyframes to linear. How you do that is just press L1 square, then set it to either ease in or linear. I believe I had mine, most of these are on linear. You can mess around with yours. These dots are called envelopes. You can move them to the side if you need things to fade in or fade out. These are the cameras. The reason I put cameras in here is because there's an option with these cameras to disable all control sensors. Press that so that way you don't have to manually do it with every control sensor. You can also hide imps if you want to. You can also hide imps with the global game setting gadget. So for the first keyframe, again, that's no data, no recording, but do set it to linear. The second keyframe, this is the one where you press L1 and X and move these guys closer together without pressing L1 and X on the character like that. The reason why you do that is so that their position actually moves closer together. So if you're pressing L1 and X and moving it, it's not really moving the position, as you can see. And that's why we do that. After you move the position, then you can press L1 and X on both of the characters after the positions have been moved. Then you can move around the limbs to make it match a fighting fatality cutscene. You can also press L1 and X on this character. And you can just keep on doing that with both until you get the animation done. Just to give you an example. And then you'll want to repeat the process until you are finished with your fatality. The final keyframe is his death blow on the ground. And this keyframe is also mimicking that death blow on the ground. And the reason I did that is because it just made making the game a lot easier. That's why I copied the death blow on the ground for that keyframe in there, because it's this one right here, and it just made making the game a lot easier. This is a health modifier. What this health modifier does is sets his health to 0, making this power on. I labeled him as foe. I pressed these also. This is looking for foe. Label him foe, or label it whatever you're going to label it. And you should be good. Inside of this timeline, there is also a keyframe. This keyframe is also for both characters. Turning off auto look, this and this. So it's turning these off. The reason it's turning these off is because these animations can interfere with the animations that you make. These are the built-in animations Media Molecule made to make game making easier. It also turns down the motion controls if you don't already have it turned it down. And you can also mess with it turning this down or off. I didn't. You can also mess with it turning that off also. I didn't do any of those things, but you can. What I did do with this keyframe is I had this keyframe turn this off, and the ones in here off also. Again, this keyframe is also turning these off for just this character. The one for no more health. It's turning that off, and turning this to none. It is also turning off this calculator's power and turning this off. Within the timeline, you can also have a keyframe that moves the camera positions if you want to. You can mess with the dots also. Whenever you're moving camera positions with keyframes, you can also use precise move. And this should be it. This should be how you make death blows. If his health is higher than 20, then you won't be able to use the finisher, as you can see. You can mess around with however low you want it to be. And you can polish it up however much you want to polish it up. Check out my other fun fighting game tutorials, as they could really help out your game making process. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Follow me in Dreams. I'm Young Tex YouTube and Dreams. Young Tex on YouTube and Twitch, so follow me there also. And if you have the Dreams app, or the Amino app, type in Dreams Ps4 and that should be us. And join there. Hope this tutorial helps you guys out. More on the way, and peace. If you are confused about anything, or if you think I forgot anything, let me know. I shouldn't have. Just trying to double check. Don't forget to set this to once and raise this after you do all the animations, the speed, if you need to. You can also move these closer together to make the speed faster. Check out my animation tutorial if you need more help animating. Check out my channel playlist for individual tutorials on logic, sculpting, animation, music, and more. By clicking my channel name, then going to the playlist for those things. You can clone the logic that is inside of a character and move it to a new character if you guys have your logic built already. That way you can easily make fighting games. Then you can remix the stage, so that way the stage keeps the emitted objects if you're using an emitter. And that's essentially how you make fighting games quickly. I hope this helps. Peace.